Okay, it started. Just for our teacher Emily, just so you know that you're listening to this, I have the flu at the moment, and so I'm just gonna leave my laptop camera off. Yeah, just letting you all know. I'll hand the time over to you, Emily. I mean to you, Kimberly.
All good. Okay, so this week we should have read the introduction to the Victorian era, the power of a still beauty. There's a couple readings about the Victorian era, and then we're comparing the two poems, The Lady of Shalott, if that's how you pronounce it, and The Sexes. And so she wants us to make sure that when we're answering things that we're using evidence, so use quotes from the poems, or if you have statements from the Victorian era information, then go from those, but make sure you're quoting things as you go, she says. Yeah.
Okay.
So first
Yep.
question is beauty is important in both of these poems, but in which ways? Anybody have any thoughts on the first question?
I I just from my reading, my idea for that question is it just depends from the way how we react or how we see things, like how we see each other. Like from the poem of the Lady of Charlotte of line 113 to 114. He looked down up to Hamlet through the web and floated wide, which means that she must be surprised by when she look at how Camelot facial expression, like beauty of him, and also from the first stanzas of the sexiest. If we look at it as the man beholds woman, like as the woman sees men, curiously they note each other. So it just depends how they reacted when they looking at each other. That's my idea for that question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really good
I have a
stuff.
thought about that too.
Yeah.
I think it's similar to what Amelia was saying, but it is interesting that that first line that Amelia mentioned, it says, as the man beholds the woman, as the woman sees the man. And I think that shows the difference in that, yeah, because he says, as the, sorry, as the man beholds her, because beholding is much more different to just seeing. And I think that's a reference to how you would have behaved or how you may have acted towards each other. A woman could only look, whereas a man could behold. There's a lot more emotion and passion that goes in with that.
Oh, that's a really good point.
So I just thought with that. The other point that I had, because the question is kind of talking about, what was the question again, Kimberly?
It says beauty is important in both of these poems, but in which ways?
Yeah, okay.
How is beauty important in each of these poems?
I'll just leave it for now. I'm going to keep looking at the document because I had a thought about Charlotte as well, but I've lost it. I'll go back and have a look. But just in reference to that question, then in the first one, it's the beauty is it's how maybe it was looked at. You know, women were looked at as being very beautiful, and it said that in the readings too. Where it was talking about the things to do with the period of time, that you know, it was the roles were different than what they were in the romantic period.
Oh yeah. Like what was considered proper, what wasn't.
Important to cross-reference. Yeah, like the social roles were set up differently.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'll have a look for my point and come back to you.
And like as you're talking about social roles, like we definitely see in the Lady of Shalott, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but however they pronounce it, all of the things that she's doing are like those new social roles. Like she's like, what is she doing? Like at first she's like chilling there. She's like inside, like not looking outside. She's got like a mirror, so she's like focused on like looks and like those sorts of things. And like I just think you can definitely see how they're reflecting that Victorian era change of roles in what she's doing. Just sort of like very like complacent in a way. Just sort of like things are happening to her, she's not a part of them. In a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I just to go on with that, the BBC history, it says that during the Queen Victoria's period, a woman's place was to be in the home, and I think that's evident when we talk. When you think about that mentality, a woman's supposed to be at home, doing those things, isn't allowed to do much.
Yeah.
And Charlotte's poem talks about within those four walls doing tapestry, and then in the other poem we see how she can only look at him, but she can't behold him. It's very defined. Like women were kind of like quietened down a bit, like put in their place, and weren't allowed to speak out, etc.
Yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts, or do you want to move on to the next questions?
We can go to the next.
All right. So the next question is, who is allowed to look at beautiful things?
So with this one, a lot, kind of like what we were talking about before, like the gender roles. Something that I thought was interesting, kind of like how you were saying, she was just allowed to stay inside, and like she couldn't even turn around to look at Camelot or anything outside. And when she did, like when she stepped out of her role, it ultimately led to her death. So I think that's kind of saying like there was all these rules for how to act proper, and if you were to step out of them, the turnout wouldn't be so good for you. I think.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think in what is it? Yeah, so in the sexes poem, I thought I like this part where it says strange inborn profound attraction, not the poet's range of soul. So I like thought of it like the way I kind of interpreted that was like it's not like control, like, and it's like the men looking at it, like I feel like it's more of like it's a natural thing for them to like behold the beauty, but like for like the woman it's like not something that should like happen. Like as a man, like it's like inborn, it's profound attraction, like it's a normal thing, if that makes sense. Like it's like it's like twined, ingrained, the sense of difference, like the subtle serpent steals. Like it's something that's known, it's something that's always gonna happen, it's a constant, it's inevitable in that sort of sense that it's always gonna be that way.
Can I just add on to that, just while I have this thought, that whole second paragraph in the sex one is, where it says, never can the man divest her of what wondrous charm, never must she dreaming of him, the same mysteric charm annexed. And so I could be way off in this thought. I'd have to probably spend more time studying the words, but it's almost like, he can openly think about that and look at her in that way, in that, if we look at the roles, but it says that ever must she dreaming of him the same way. It's almost like she can only think it, but she can't act upon that unless he does first.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so divest means...
Or am I kind of way off?
Yeah.
No, I see
in a way. Yeah. So never can the man divest her means never can the man deprive her of something. It's like he can never deprive her of that wondrous charm of sense. So he can never deprive her of himself, Like it's like him being there is like blessing her in a way.
Yeah.
So I totally see that where you're going with that.
Yeah, it's but then as it continues, ever must she dreaming of him. the same mystic charm in X. So it's like, is that kind of saying that she can't deny him the same, but she can't think of, like, she can't do anything, she can only dream of it? I'm not sure. I'm just looking at the words. I just think
Like-
it's interesting. But
Yeah,
I think I know what you're saying.
definitely
Like
how it's not
the women can't.
physical. Sorry, go ahead, Daniel.
No, yeah. I think I get what you're saying, Mark. Like with the whole roles of the man and the woman, like the woman couldn't call upon a man, you know, like he had to do it first. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, kind of like how it's like not a physical thing. Like he's not there and she's acting on it. It's a mental thing. Like she doesn't have the physical capabilities in a way.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let me read the next question for us. The next question says, is this different in each poem? So is one poem more? Is the answer to who was allowed to look at beautiful things different for the poems?
Clear in the Lady of Shalott, like super clear. Like the women can't, you know, step out of her role. Like she can't look at the beauty.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot clearer in that one.
definitely. Like how she can't even, what was it that it said? Trying to use quotes. Like everything, like it says, like pass onward from Shalott, or like she hath no loyal knight and true. Like you can see that in her writing. Like she doesn't have anything. Like she's not a part of it. Very removed from the whole outside world.
The curse is come upon me by the Lady of Shalott.
Yeah. Definitely. All right. What do we think about the sexes? What do they of, like, who can behold beauty? Is it different? Is who can behold beauty different in the sexes than in Lady of Shalott?
I think it's the man that can be helped you different.
yeah, you go, Amelia, if you have a thought.
The man can behold beauty from the woman different from Lady of Shalott, because she can't like behold beauty.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah, I would agree with you, because the second last line says, twined, ingrained the sense of difference like the subtle serpent steals. And I think that the sense of difference, you know, is, even though you may be thinking the same thing or vibing the same way with each other, there is a sense of difference because of the gender roles.
Yeah.
Maybe because of the way society is telling us that we can view or behold beauty.
Yeah, definitely.
Really. I like it. And then what are the effects of beauty on the viewer? What does beauty do on the viewer? I think that in the Lady of Shalott one, like as she sees all of these things happening, like she sees the knights come by, she sees the shadows of the world appear, she sees all of these things happening, and right before part 3 begins, in lines 71, she says, "I am half sick of shadows." Like she recognizes that, like, she doesn't have that. Like I think that's a really big and powerful line, that she like recognizes the beauty in that sense, like that she's not a part of it. Like kind of like almost beauty kind of has like a negative connotation in her mind because she cannot be a part of it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, I love the way that you say it. It's, it's almost like because of the gender role, she's deprived. She's not allowed to behold it. It's like saying you can see it, you can look at it, but you can't behold it and enjoy it like the
Mhm.
man can.
Yeah.
You know?
Like she knows it's there, and she knows that like she could have the capability to have it, but in the end she won't. Like it doesn't matter what she does, like she won't have it. Like she sees
It's
other
only going to
people
bring
having
trouble.
it. She sees the nights going by. She sees the couples and everything like that, and she doesn't have that, and she recognizes that. So I feel like there's this sense of like spitefulness when she sees these things, and like she sees
Yeah.
beauty.
Yeah, and eventually she does go after it, and it results in her dying.
Dying.
Yeah.
And it's like a catch-22. Yeah, you either
Mhm.
stay there and
Yeah.
follow your gender roles and do what you're supposed to do, and suffer, or you can go after it and suffer
Dying.
as well. I mean, and
As
maybe
well.
that's fairly sorry, maybe that's fairly extreme to show like death, for example. But maybe going after it in that way, there would have been a punishment, or there may have been society looking down or frowning upon you, and that could have been a
Yeah.
type of death within yourself because everybody thought differently of you at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any
You know
other
what I thought
thoughts?
was really
Oh yeah, go ahead.
yeah. I don't know if this really answers the question. It's just something I thought was interesting between the man and the woman. So, like with Sir Lancelot, the poem talks a whole bunch of about like how good looking he is and just how like beautiful he is, like his armor and then with her, it really just says at the very end, like base. And after that, he says, God in his mercy lend her grace. I don't know if he says that because she had a pretty face.
Mhm.
But it's interesting that he thought that God would give her mercy just because she had a pretty face,
Yeah. That's
Uh,
definitely something interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amelia, do you have any thoughts
Yep,
on that
that's
one?
about all.
No.
Okay. Well, I think that's all of our questions. So if anybody just has any other thoughts about the two poems. Daniel, is there anything else that you need help with for writing the paper? Anything you want, like, any more ideas about?
Let me see. Like beautiful things. No, you guys said it's definitely gonna use.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
I'm good to go.
All right. I don't know how to do this, Mark.
Oh, yeah, no. I've just got a thought for you here, Daniel.
Hi.
Yeah.
Mate, if you have a look at the word behold, like just look it up, but I'll read it to everyone so that you can understand it. It says to see or observe something or someone, especially of remarkable or impressive nature.
Oh, cool.
And then if you look at the difference between the word behold and sees, sees just says perceive with the eyes or discern visually. In the distance, she could see the blue sea.
Huh.
That's
cool how
very,
it's like
very
specific.
big difference.
Yeah.
And I think
I really like
you could
that. Yeah.
really, you could spend half a paper on it, but that's just a thought and an idea. That's just something that really stood out to me.
Yeah, I'm
I just thought I'd
definitely
give
gonna
you the
use that. That's
definitions.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like how it says, what was the word that you used? Like something impressive, It's like impressible. Like it's not just like beholding something. Like you're not just like looking at something that's ordinary and beholding it. It's something that's majestic. It's something that's outrageous. Like something like truly awe-inspiring that you are beholding. Like that's what it has to be in order for you to behold it and not just see it. Like it has to not be in the person who's beholding it, but in what is being beholded, if that makes sense. It's not something that the viewer it's not something by the fault of the viewer that can be claimed as beheld, but it's at the fault of what is being viewed that is being beheld.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay, well, I guess Malia,
Yep.
are you there? Hey, I just wanted to say thank you for your paper because even though
Yeah.
you got 17 out of 20, that's amazing. I'm really happy. I'm stoked.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
That's awesome.
Thank
So
Yeah, you
good
weren't
job.
nervous for nothing. Gee.
You had nothing to worry about. Yeah, eh? Malia, huh? Say pe malo, huh?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
so hard.
No, you're good. Don't worry. You only have to
You did
write one or
awesome.
two more of them. Yeah. Okay, well, my laptop's on 4%. It's almost 10 p.m. and my flu is killing me here in Utah.
Awesome.
Again, thanks everyone for being patient with me and
No problem.
awesome job in the feedback tonight. And then I'll send Daniel. I'll send you the link, and then you just put it at the bottom of the paper for the teacher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Do you want to end the live
All right, guys.
so we can talk about
We'll,
Wednesday?
Oh yes, Wednesday we have one more of these. So if everyone's okay for 6:30.
Yep.
I should be okay, yeah.
Okay. If not, just put a message in the group. And this week, I think it's back to you, Kimberly, and then I'm after you.
Yep. I got it.
Perfect.
All right,
All
awesome.
right, team. All right, guys. Catch you later.
All
Got
right.
it.
See you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. See you.
See you, Amelia.
Bye.